two negotiations, all in accordance with the preemption rights of the government exercised by the minister responsible for mines. So you know that in 2022, the government at the time, as part of its Good for Oil program, domestic good purchasing program of the Bank of Ghana, negotiated a deal with large-scale mining companies in Ghana where the government, through the Bank of Ghana, buys 20% of refined gold produced by large-scale mining companies in the country. So that is already happening. The Bank of Ghana buys this refined gold, what we call bullion, to shore up our reserves in the Bank of England. Now, the Gold Board has a right to go beyond this 20% and say we want to buy 10% more or 20% more if the gold we are getting from the small-scale sector is not enough for the realization of our objects. What is the objective of the Gold Board? It is primarily to generate foreign exchange for the country for purposes of stabilizing the national city. And number two, to support gold reserve accumulation by the central bank with the aim of strengthening the Ghana city and the economy as a whole. That is the whole essence of the Gold Board. Government is saying that we cannot leave this very important job of trading gold, buying the gold we produce in Ghana and selling that gold to private players. Today, as of 2022, gold exports was being done by bullion traders. These are holders of export licenses from the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, granted them on the recommendations of the Minerals Commission. There are 61 of them, and majority of them are foreigners, mainly Indians and Chinese. The Ghanaians constitute a minority, and the Ghanaians were unable to even compete with the foreigners in the trade because the foreigners have more funds to buy the gold than the Ghanaians. Now, what was happening was that these bullion traders, under the current regime, are allowed to repatriate only 80% of their forex within 30 days of export. And even with that flexible regime, most of them were not adhering to that. And so you have license holders buying gold under the pretext of exporting only to smuggle the gold. And you have those who even export the gold through the legal means but fail to repatriate the forex back into Ghana so that our central bank can get dollars for those who need dollars for their business, BDCs, the banks, and so on and so forth. And so you look at the fact that in 2024 alone, gold exports was to the tune of $11.5 billion. And you ask yourself, how much of that dollars came back into the country to support the city? You understand? You check gold exports from Ghana to Dubai as recorded by the PMMC for 2022. And you compare gold exports from Ghana to Dubai as recorded by the Dubai authorities, and you see a huge gap of about $2.3 billion. Whereas the Dubai figures shows a figure of over $4 billion. Here we have records to the tune of about $2 billion relative to gold that was exported through legal means in Ghana. So you can clearly see that I think that we lose over 70 to 80% of the gold that is produced by small-scale mining companies to smuggling. Right. And what that means is that the state is not only deprived of the revenue in terms of the taxes and all that, but the state is also deprived of the forex, which is the most important thing.
Right.
We need to stabilize the national currency.
Sammy, let me